Well, finally, yesterday, the commissioner of the Big Ten decided it's time. So he wrote an open letter to the Big Ten community. The way we used to decide whether something would be a statement, would it be a statement from somebody? Would it be a letter to somebody from somebody? Would it be a letter to somebody from nobody? Would it be a statement to everybody from nobody? Would it be a statement just to some people from one person? We always would go through the different possibilities, and the way we look at it is that when there is a big issue where we are at fault because we haven't acted quickly enough, because we've been dithering a little bit, or because we may be on the wrong side of our students and we may have done something that we think was right but everyone else thinks was wrong, we would do it like the Big Ten did it, an open letter to the Big Ten community. We're not going to say it's an open letter to the college football community. We're not going to say it's an open letter just to parents, just to fans, just to sponsors, just to broadcast partners. No, it's the community of the Big Ten, which therefore encompasses all of the people who have been bitching and moaning about what the Big Ten has done and how they did it. So the open letter from the commissioner, his name is Kevin Warren. You know, we've gone through this before, but he released this letter, and basically he was defending the decision finally and explaining the decision. He acknowledged there was a vote of the Big Ten Council of Presidents and Chancellors. He said the vote was overwhelmingly in support of postponing fall sports and will not be revisited. So that was the third sentence of the letter. And I understand why he couldn't lead off with that. But that was a very big issue because there was such difference of opinion regarding whether there was actually a vote, including by the Michigan State University president, who didn't know whether there was a vote, which is obviously insane. Anytime, here's a little clue over there in Lansing. When you have to say yay or nay, or you have to raise your hand on a Zoom, or if you have a chance, anyone opposed and you don't say anything, all of that means there's been a vote and you have voted and you've taken a position. Just a little nugget from me to you here on Nothing Personal. So the open letter of the Big Ten community goes on to talk about COVID and how many people have died and how many people have died around the world and in America, and then acknowledged how disappointed everyone is that there's no fall sports. He talked about the health, safety, and welfare and wellness of all the student athletes and how that's the center of the decision. He didn't say that the health and wellness and safety of all students in the Big Ten community. He was talking specifically about the student athletes. Interesting. What about me? What about me? He explained that it's an evolving situation, which is why he released the schedule 6 days before postponing the season, because things change on a daily basis. Horse hockey. If you go to your council, there's no way that council agrees to release a schedule by a vote when they know that there is no consensus and there is no majority for anything other than postponing the season. There was not going to be a new revelation in testing, which was listed below in this letter as the primary factors that led to the Big Ten decision. Transmission rates continuing to rise at an alarming rate. The general student body coming back to campus and spreading to student athletes could reintroduce infection into our athletics community. I'm so annoyed with the Big Ten commissioner right now for ignoring the fact that the majority of people in the Big Ten are students and faculty. There's too much we don't know about the virus. 6 days ago, we really didn't know anything. Then we learned a little less, maybe a little more. We tried to learn about, he talked about myocardiopathy, myocarditis, myocarditis. You learned that in 6 days? With the start of full contact practices and competitions, it became increasingly clear that contact tracing would risk frequent and significant disruptions to the practice. What? You didn't know that 6 days ago? It's disingenuous to say anything other than we released the schedule to the Big Ten because we were still trying to get votes to play. We thought that we could get away with playing. We waited to the last possible minute. As we know from the Samson sit down with the Rutgers president, there was an on-off switch. There was a day they all knew about where the final decision would have to be made. Releasing the schedule was nothing but misguided, wishful thinking. And they had all this time to figure out how to play it, and they still screwed it up so badly by not making sure the coaches, the athletic directors were on the same page. Because all that's happened is there's teams that are saying in schools that are saying, hey, we're going to play the fall schedule, rumors are. Ohio State did an entire huge statement from their athletic director after the athletic director has been vociferous in his disagreement with his president, his desire to play. He did an entire statement yesterday that said, on behalf of OSU and President-elect Christina Johnson. He finally got the picture that all these coaches and athletic directors who are talking out of school and or talking as though that they don't agree with what the president did and they're doing that publicly, all of those people are violating their contracts. Every last one of them. I'm talking to you, Jim Harbaugh. So Gene Smith does an entire, by the way, Jim Harbaugh is the one who went up against his president, saying that we're safe. Let's play. So Gene Smith did a huge statement talking about Ohio State University, what a difficult time it is for Buckeye Nation. What he said in there is interesting. Big Ten sports is postponed. It's not canceled. We are looking for a schedule in winter or in spring. We are putting together a committee. This is good. The Big Ten announced a new committee. I want to tell you, I've not been asked to be on the committee, but it's a good committee. It is now the Big Ten Return to Competition Task Force. And that task force is tasked with developing plans for winter and spring competition models. You're only convening that task force now? Let me give you some advice. That should have been going on for the past 4 months, and their results should be in right now, because one of the things you should have been planning for was the end of college football, because we talked about it on Nothing Personal. We knew months ago. If you're going to live in a bubble and dream of things that you want to be, wish they could be, but are deluding yourself into thinking they will be, all that happens is you're caught with your pants around your ankles. And there are a lot of people tripping in the Big Ten right now.